praise be to Yahweh, who is the creator of heavens, earth, seas, and fountains of water. I greet you all in the precious name of our Elohim, Yeshua Mashiach. Islam. Does this word ring a bell in your mind? Islam is the religion of the Muslims. Islam almost sounds like shalom. Of course, the Muslims claim that Islam is a religion of peace, which means it's all about shalom. And the Arabic version of the word shalom is salam. That's why when Muslims meet each other, they say, Salamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. Right? I speak, read, and write Arabic, though I'm not an Arab. Just for the sake of understanding Islam, the phenomenon called Islam, I spent some time in learning Arabic language. I'm still yet to learn a lot. So Islam may sound like salam, but actually the real meaning of word Islam is submission, not peace. Though Muslim apologists claim that Islam means peace, so Islam is a religion of peace. That's what they say. It's not true. Islam is a religion of surrender or submission. And you get peace when everyone, all the inhabitants of the planet Earth, when they bow down to Islam, then the peace comes. Until then, it's submission. I have many lectures on the phenomenon called Islam, but I want to briefly tell you that Islam has a veneer of Jewish and Christian beliefs. Veneer. But if you go a little bit deeper, it is totally pagan. Muslims believe that Yahweh of the Bible and Allah of the Quran are same person. Yeshua of the Bible is same who's mentioned in the Quran, but his name is totally corrupted. Yeshua means what? Yahweh saves. Isa is the name given to Yeshua in the Quran. They also claim that to Moses, Allah gave the Torah, and to Jesus, Isa, Allah gave the Injil, which means it's a corrupted word, the Greek word evangelion, which means they mean New Testament. But actually, evangelion is about the four Gospels, not about the epistles, not about the book of Revelation, not about the Acts of Apostles. So they have totally a misguided view of the Holy Bible, about Yeshua, about the Torah and the New Testament. But still they claim that Islam is the latest model of the Abrahamic faith. This is the latest religion, Allah's last revelation. It is the last testament, and Muhammad is the last prophet. So all of the prophets have been abrogated. All their sayings, their writings, their ministry are all been annulled. And the latest model of the Abrahamic religion is Islam. So Islam should be imposed on those people who believe the Torah, the Jews, and those people who believe the New Testament, Christians. And Quran in the 5th chapter, verse 51, says categorically that do not take Jews and Christians as your friends. And the reason given, because they are friends to each other. Now, I think it is a misguided statement. If you look down through the history, if you see, you'll never find Jews and Christians going hand in hand. They were adversaries. They were at loggerheads. At many points of history, they were at loggerheads with each other. Right? So Quranic statement claim that Jews and Christians, you cannot take friends Muslims because they are friends to each other, is not based on any hard fact. Now this evening, I'm going to talk to you about certain things that happened in history. A very important episode that took place in human history during ancient times, which Bible records. Even archaeology was not able to find out that, but later they found out. But Bible had written authoritatively about a certain thing that happened, And I'm going to correlate that with a historical happening that took place in our lifetime. Because most of you are seniors here, so you're all born after 1973, right? I'm sorry, before 1973. So I'm going to take that particular incident which took place during our lifetime and how history had repeated itself, recapitulated itself. I'm going to show. It's a very interesting presentation, provided you have a lot of interest in history. Hallelujah. Praise Yahweh. Okay, let's start. Okay. I don't know which button. There are 4 buttons here. Which one I should press? Side one? The right or left? It's my right? Okay, my right. I'm left-handed person. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Sorry for the time delay. Handwriting on the wall is the title of this presentation. As soon as you listen to this or see this handwriting on the wall, I think as a Bible student, something may strike in your mind, but even secular humanists use this expression, handwriting on the wall. But it's based on a Bible happening that took place in ancient Babylon. Right? See, even secular humanism uses a lot of Bible expressions. If you start an advertising company and if you're looking for some caption or slogan, you can copy the Bible. There are many, many captions which can draw the attention. One-liners. There are many. And this is a one-liner which had impacted even the secular humanists. Handwriting on the wall. Let's go. Next. Charles Dickens' Tale of Two Cities? When I was a boy, English was my second language in school, and I read this novel. It's a very interesting novel. And if you read that novel intricately, one thing you can understand, the theme had been copied from the Holy Bible. Charles Dickens, great novelist, took the idea from the Holy Bible. I'm not going to elaborate on that because that is not my topic. The Tale of Two Cities is a historical fiction based on a story that took place, so-called story fiction, that took place between 2 cities, 2 prominent cities during the 100 Years' War. France, England were with loggerheads with each other. London and Paris made a great impact in modern time, during the Industrial Revolution, French Revolution, and during that time. And based on the happening of French Revolution, this fiction was written by a great novelist, Charles Dickens. But actually, this is an imaginary, it's a fiction. But there is a book which really talks about 2 cities. It's not a fiction. Let's see which book talks about 2 cities. And that is real. The Holy Bible. The Holy Bible is the real tale of 2 cities. Can you mention those 2 cities which is written in the Bible? Make a guess. If you make a wrong, even if you're wrong, no problem. You can guess. There are 2 cities mentioned in the Bible throughout, from the book of Genesis to the book of Revelation. And 2 cities were at loggerheads with each other. One represented Yahweh, another one represented as Satan. And the hero of this tale of 2 cities is a person called Yeshua, who sacrificed himself to save another person. Same thing in Tale of Two Cities. You'll find a look-alike man. He gives his life and saves another person. Yeshua is look-alike us because he took the human form and came down. And he sacrificed his life in order to save you and me. Hallelujah. So this is the Bible is the real tale of 2 cities. And what are the 2 cities? Just make a guess. If you're wrong, no problem. We all learn. Jerusalem? Rome doesn't appear from Genesis to Revelation. But anyhow, your attempt is good. Yeah. It's the thing. Wrong. But anyhow, I'm here because of a brother's effort. And I'm grateful to him. Yeah. Pardon? Egypt is not a city. Cairo became much later. Yeah. Kahira in Arabic, they say, what? Much later. Yeah. But you can make a guess. I know, you know that. You know the answer. Yes, sir. Well, that's kingdom. I'm talking about two cities. Babylon, there you are. It's Jerusalem and Babylon. Bible is a real tale of two cities, Babylon and Jerusalem, and the hero who sacrificed is Yeshua. Now you got it? You understand now from where the theme came to Charles Dickens and made a very successful classic called Tale of Two Cities? Okay. Yeah. Tale of Two Cities, Jerusalem and Babylon. Neo-Babylon. I'm going to the Neo-Babylon, not the ancient Babylon, but the Neo-Babylon founded by Nabopolassar, who was the father of Nebuchadnezzar. And during Nebuchadnezzar's time, this Neo-Babylon reached its zenith, its glory. Isaiah chapter 13 verse 9 says, the jewel of the kingdoms, the glory of the pride of the Chaldees will be overthrown. That I'm going to talk later. So this was a pride. Those days, nothing equated the splendor of Babylon. And Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon was the supermost power at the time. Like how United States is the supermost power in human history today, Babylon was the supermost power. Next. Look at the entrance of Babylon. There was a gate called the Gate of Ishtar, named after the Babylonian goddess Ishtar. That's how the word Easter comes. Now we understand the origin of the word Easter? Okay. So this, this actually brought pride to the citizens of Babylon. How it brings pride to the citizen of the United States because the United States is the supermost power. Likewise, I think the Babylonians were so, proud about their splendor of their kingdom and the city. You know, what is this? This is an artist's imagination of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which is one of the ancient wonders of the world. And, this is real wonder, and not only a wonder, but also an engineering marvel, because King Nebuchadnezzar built this Hanging Gardens of Babylon to make his Median wife very happy. Do you have husbands like that today here in America? So, the splendor of this, the engineering marvel of this building is the water from River Euphrates was pumped to the highest staircase of this Hanging Gardens, which had many staircases, and the water from ground went to the topmost part of the building, of the garden. How they were able to do? There was no electricity, there was no electric pumps, and no obvious plumbing technology, but still the water from the ground from River Euphrates was pumped to the highest point, and the water fell down and irrigated all the plants in that building and made this a real wonder. Such was the splendor of Babylon. And Nebuchadnezzar died, and Nabopolassar and Belshazzar, perhaps his grandson, took over the reign of Babylon. And what happened at one night? He called all his courtiers, his concubines, and then gave them a grand musical party. And when this was given, the timing is very important, because King Cyrus, the Medo-Persian king, had already come and besieged Babylon. And Isaiah chapter 45 verse 1 says that Cyrus is my anointed one. He's a shepherd. That's what Yahweh says. And Cyrus, we don't know what kind of God he worshipped, whether he knew Yahweh or not, but Yahweh has his own plans. Hallelujah. He knows things much better. He knows the past, the present, and the future. And he's the one who calls Cyrus my anointed one. May not be the anointed one through the progeny of David, but Yahweh has his own way of expressing and doing things. Hallelujah. Can we question him? We can question him provided we have a knowledge like him, a wisdom like him, but we don't have that, right? We derive knowledge and wisdom from him. So he called for a grand party. And why he called for a grand party? Because to flaunt the impregnable defenses of Babylon. Because those days, the city of Babylon had the super defenses, and no one was able to penetrate that defense and get into the city. So much overconfident was Belshazzar, he called for a grand party, and booze was flowing. And, and the music was heavy. When the booze was very high, what he did, he called his courtiers and asked them to go and bring the golden and silver vessels which were looted from the house of Yahweh, temple of Yahweh, by his father or maybe grandfather, when he conquered Judah, and ransacked the temple. All those precious vessels were plundered and brought to Babylon, and they were kept as a treasure of the kings. And Belshazzar, when the booze was high, asked his courtiers, go on, bring that golden and silver vessels which my father or grandfather looted from the Jewish temple. And that was brought. And what he did, the battery has fallen down. Okay, please excuse me. Daniel chapter 5 verse 2 says, Belshazzar, whilst he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink. The sacred vessels from the temple of God are brought, and alcohol poured into them, and they drank out of them, laughing and joking about true God of the Jews. So they made fun, openly, blatantly insulted Yahweh, who's the creator of heavens, earth, seas, and fountains of water. Hallelujah. He flaunted against the enemy, and he made fun of the creator. And what happened? When he was doing that, what happened? The booze was flowing from the golden vessels, and suddenly a pale hand appeared from nowhere and started writing something on the wall. It was a encoded message by Yahweh himself. And nobody was able to decipher or encode it. What was written? Mene, mene, tekel, upharsin. Your kingdom had been measured. Your kingdom had been weighed. Your kingdom will be divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Suddenly came, and when the music stopped, the king's knees started knocking, his blood curdled, his stomach churned, his bones shattered, and his nerves wrecked. And he was not able to understand the meaning of mene, mene, tekel, upharsin. He called all the sorcerers, magicians, palmists, wizards of the kingdom and asked to decipher this, encode this, and none were able to do it. That shows that if we want to know our future, we should not go to the tarot card readers or magicians or wizards or palmists. I come from India, where palmistry and stars movements are part and parcel of Hindu religion. But Bible categorically says, do not go to and seek divination, because the future is not with them. Hallelujah. The future is in the hands of Yahweh. Hallelujah. So he was not able to decipher this and encode this. So what happened? Perhaps his mother, the queen, who was a queen, or perhaps a daughter or wife of Nebuchadnezzar, she knew about one man. Who's that man? She knew about one man because that man had solved the riddle of her father or husband Nebuchadnezzar when he had a night dream, and he was restless and waiting for the dawn. And as soon as dawn came, he wanted to know the dream that he saw, which was forgotten, and also its interpretation. He called all the diviners and the wise men of his kingdom, sorcerers, magicians. None were able to make him to recollect the dream that he forgot and the interpretation. But then young Daniel comes. Hallelujah. He stands before the mighty king. And the king, like an obedient child or student, sits before a professor. And Daniel, a young man, was able to, bring that mighty king to his terms. Hallelujah. Praise Yahweh. And you know that incident? Perhaps this lady, maybe Belshazzar's mother, knew about this man Daniel. By this time, when this party took place, Daniel was an old man. He was called. See, the king became, became pale after seeing this message which came on by the handwriting of the wall. And then Daniel was called. All these sorcerers were not able to decipher it, encode it. And then Daniel was called, old man. He came, and just like that, so easy was for him. And he said, your kingdom is weighed, your kingdom is measured, and your kingdom will be divided and given to the Medo-Persians. By this time, you remember, Cyrus had already come and besieged, Cyrus the Great. He had already come and besieged the city of Babylon. And he was looking for a loophole to bust the impregnable defense walls of Babylon, and he was trying to get inside the city. He was a great military genius and an engineer of that time. So he found he wanted to go inside the city. So how did he go? How did he get into the impregnable city? He saw the river Euphrates, which was passing through the city of Babylon. He ingeniously diverted, by his engineering skills, he diverted the river, and he got a gap between the riverbed and the city wall, and all his soldiers went through that, and then they opened the gate of Babylon city. They opened the gate, they entered the city of Babylon, and what did they do after entering? The first thing they did, perhaps, is to kill Belshazzar. Okay? See, Daniel predicted, he said, your kingdom is measured, your kingdom is weighed, it will be divided and given to the Medes and Persians. And right now, today, this time, your king, you're going to come to an abrupt end. You'll be killed, O king, he said. That's what happened. The Medo-Persians entered and they beheaded Belshazzar, and the splendor, the splendor of the Chaldees, Mesopotamia, the pride of Chaldees came to a sudden end. That showed to people that Yahweh is in control. You cannot insult him. This was a blatant insult against Yahweh by a king. If an ordinary citizen does, our Yahweh is a long-suffering Yahweh. Hallelujah. Many people insult our Yahweh, and he's not going to take action. If he takes action immediately, I think none of us will be alive. But when it comes official, when a king does, and the entire kingdom is trying to follow, the king trying to influence his kingdom to follow, his citizens to follow his attack on Yahweh, I think Yahweh will not allow that to happen. And so what happened? That same night, when he insulted Yahweh, Babylon came to an abrupt end. Now you'll ask me why you're talking about this history. As I told you, something happened in our lifetime. Similar thing happened, which I wanted to show you. Hallelujah. Yeah. October 11th, BC, 539, Babylon came to a sudden end on that fateful night. This is what the historians say. I'm not very sure about October 11th because I was not there and none of us were there. But I think the historians, they have taken they have calculated, they have taken a study, and then they come to a situation, this date. But one thing is sure, the date may be wrong, but the incident was true. Hallelujah? Okay, now, history recapitulates. It repeats. How it has repeated? Yeah. King of Afghanistan, Muhammad Zahir Shah. He was a king, and he represented the dynasty called Durrani dynasty, which was ruling Afghanistan for 225 years. Not just 1 or 2 years or 2 decades or 3 decades. For 225 years, his kingdom called Durrani dynasty was ruling Afghanistan. Okay. President Eisenhower made a state visit to Afghanistan during his time. See his motorcade? Those days was black and white. Too much color photos were not there. And you can see him sitting there. If you come closer. Yeah. President Eisenhower was, because President Eisenhower was very much interested to gather all these nations against the Soviets, because the Soviet Union was a neighbor of Afghanistan. And Afghanistan was also interested with having a good relations with the United States, because the United States will protect, he thought will protect his monarchy. Whereas Soviets were communists and they were overthrowing monarchies, and they were introducing, so-called liberation and so-called workers of the world unite, and the dictatorship of the proletariat. All those things, those things they came out with, and they used neo-colonialism and imperialism and all these jargons. Okay? And so he had a natural inclination to join the king, natural tendency to join, leniency toward the United States. Perhaps that made President Eisenhower to visit Afghanistan. Okay, see, this is the grand welcome that was given. See, can you recognize President Eisenhower? Because most of us were not born. I was born. I was a kid at the time. Some of you were kids. Yeah. Okay, this was an official. That is King. They're standing there. King Dawud, Muhammad Shah. Yeah. Now, before that, what happened? There were a couple from New Jersey, Princeton University. Betty and Christy Wilson reached Afghanistan made a mistake. Afghanistan in 1951 to spread the gospel of Yeshua. Oh, they were evangelicals. And he was a runner, cross-country runner, a great sportsman. At the same time, had an evangelistic endeavor to introduce the gospel to Afghanistan, because Afghanistan was a primitive kingdom, mostly Islamic, and there was no way for Christianity to come in. And so he took the risk of, entering Afghanistan in 1951, and he did a lot of work, and he gave baptism to so many people, and he started a church in 1970 called CCK. CCCK means Christian Church, Christian Community Church of Kabul. Kabul is the capital of Afghanistan. Kabul is the capital of Afghanistan. Christian Community Church, Kabul. And many people, Muslims, became Christians, got baptized. And the church was growing, overflowing. And Muslims started watching at this church activity. And they were afraid that many people were becoming Christians, leaving Islam. And there's a lot of other stories, which it will take a lot of time, so I'm not talking about it. And the church started growing. And this irked the Muslim politicians. See, first of all, I want to tell you, Islam is not a religion. It masquerades as a religion. It is politics. Islamic calendar started ticking in 622 AD, when Islam became a political power, not a religious power. See, it masquerades as a religion here in the United States. But I come from India. Before 1947, India had the largest Muslim population in the world. And after the formation of Pakistan and then later Bangladesh, the Indian position came to number 2. Indonesia became first in having a Muslim population. Then India was number 2. But 25 years ago, Pakistan population increased, and now Pakistan is the second largest Muslim country. India's position is 3rd, though India is not a Muslim country. Okay. Now, Islam means politics. That's very important. So the politicians and the religious leaders were not very happy about this activity, Christian activity that was going on Afghanistan's state capital, Kabul. And so what? And a church was dedicated in 1970. Now, the mayor of Kabul once decided that the Christian church should be demolished. It should be demolished. We cannot allow this to happen. So the mayor had a friend called Hans Mohr. He's an engineer. He was an engineer of German origin, a German guy. Was an engineer, was used by the mayor. Mayor also studied in Germany. So the mayor of Kabul was able to communicate with Hans Mohr, the engineer, in German language. And this man was involved in town planning of Kabul. So Hans Mohr came to know that the church is going to be demolished by the authorities, because that news reached his ears. So what happened? He went and approached the mayor and warned him. What was his warning? Hans Mohr warned like this: if your government touches the assembly of Yahweh, Yahweh will overthrow your government. He said. He gave a stern warning to the mayor in German language, in a language which the mayor understood. He said, if you touch the house of Yahweh, Yahweh will overthrow your government, he said. On June 17th, 1973, the fateful day came. Bulldozer was sent, and they ripped open the church, ripped apart, and the church was demolished. All the believers, including Christy, were all watching the church being demolished. And they not only ripped apart the church, but also they started digging the underground, thinking that there is an underground church. No, underground church is in our heart, not under the ground. So they took a literal meaning of the underground church, and they started going 12 feet down the ground, thinking there is an underground church. But they did not find an underground church. You know what happened that night? Like what happened to Belshazzar? Same night when Mene Mene Tekel Upharsin was written on the wall, his kingdom came to an abrupt end. Muhammad Dawud Khan was a military leader, staged a coup d'etat against against Zahir Shah, the king of Afghanistan, and he was deposed. He was overthrown. He had to run for his life to Italy. Muhammad Dawud Khan took power. He became the military leader of Afghanistan. The same night when the Christian church, the only Christian church, was demolished. And a stern warning was given, and the warning was unheeded. The 225-year monarchy came to an abrupt end. History recapitulates. And then what happened? Did this so-called new government was stable? Was able to bring stability to Afghanistan? No. After a few years, Nur Muhammad Taraki, another military leader, killed Muhammad Dawud Khan and captured power. And did he reign for a long time? No. He also was deposed. And Hafizullah Amin took over. He was a Soviet stooge. By the time the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, he was a Soviet stooge. And then they found him to be very flimsy leader. And then the Soviet changed and put this puppet called Babra Karmal. And even he was not effective. I don't know. There are so many other things. It will take a lot of time, so I'm not going to explain all those things. And he was found to be ineffective. And another guy, this guy, Muhammad Najibullah, also called a strong man, was installed by Soviets. Najibullah brother, Najibullah's family, they were all became very influential, very powerful in Afghanistan. By this time, what happened? Pakistan was brewing the Taliban. Taliban means students, Islamic students, generated from Islamic schools in Pakistan. And they were unleashed into Afghanistan, like fleas, like locusts going into Afghanistan. And what they did at one particular point, the Soviets were not able to withstand the resistance. This is the time when President Ronald Reagan gave to the Taliban fighters and all of the Afghan resistance. There were many gangsters and many gangs, many groups fighting against the Soviet domination. Ronald Reagan supported them by giving shoulder-launched Stinger missile, and that really helped. And many CIA and other military went there secretly and gave training to Taliban to drive the Soviets away, because that was the time when superpower politics was existing, right? Yeah. And so Muhammad Najibullah was, what happened? He was caught by the Taliban and publicly hanged along with his brother. This was a brutal, nauseating kind of a scene where many of these Soviet stooges were publicly hanged. And what happened afterwards? Afterwards, arson and killing and mass murder was ravaging Afghanistan. See what happened? When it all happened because that Christian church, only Christian church, was demolished. And the warning was not heeded. And Afghanistan became a place of bloodbath. And Mullah Omar was the one who fought against the Soviets. He lost one of his eyes, and he became, after Taliban and other groups capturing power of Afghanistan, he became a self-proclaimed leader of Afghanistan, and he was, he turned against America. Instead of being grateful to America, because America helped a lot, instead of being grateful to America, he turned against And what did he do? At one point, he gave asylum to whom? To Osama bin Laden. Yeah. He said, when Osama bin Laden was hopping from one country to another country to find a base for his organization called Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda in Arabic means base. So he was looking for a base, and Mullah Omar, the Taliban leader, invited him, come over, and I'll give you protection, I'll give you everything. And from there, he brewed what happened? He brewed the attack against the United States, and he succeeded in attacking in attacking the Twin Tower, and he brought the United States to its knees. Yeah. And in order to attack the Twin Towers, what did he do? Or to bring United States to his knees, what did he do? He robbed American technology. He stole planes. He had nothing in him. No technology, nothing. Islam doesn't offer anything. There's no scientific achievement. There's no new ideas. There's nothing good for human beings. So he made his stooges to go and steal American technology, American planes, and ram them into the Twin Towers. Hallelujah. Do you think that is going to continue? Never. It's not going to continue. History again is going to recapitulate. Hallelujah. So anything that is done against the people of Yahweh, Yahweh will intervene. Hallelujah. And he will put an end to any act that is going to be detrimental to the people of Yahweh. Hallelujah. So what you have to do is, bin Laden killed by US forces in Pakistan, Obama says, declaring justice has happened. I don't think full justice has been given. Well, now you have those people who supported the Taliban and Al-Qaeda are now becoming officials in this so-called government that is existing today, right? The wolves have been appointed to take care of the chicken. What do you call it? Chicken pen? Hen pen? That's English? Yeah. Now wolves are guarding the chicken house. That's the situation this country is facing today. So you have to beware of creeping Islam. You go to the United States, there are many mosques coming up in different places, even in conservative states like Tennessee. You have big mosques. In Ohio, I went to Toledo, I saw a big mosque. That is not even a church that is so big. And what is the population of Muslims here in this country? 1%. Say 1.5%. But you have number of mosques which are disproportional to the population of Muslims in this country. And with this administration, you have to be very careful, because this administration is opening doors for Muslims to come in. Their background check is not there. They don't know from what kind of background they are from, and nothing is monitored, and they're simply having a cakewalk into this country. So we have to be aware of creeping Islam. We don't want another Afghanistan to take place here. We don't want people to be victims of this so-called truth and error mix. That's what Islam is all about. It has some truth, but error is mixed with truth, and then it becomes a Babylonian wine. Okay? That's why Revelation 14, chapter 14, verse 8 warns us. Babylon is fallen, that great city who made all nations to drink the wine of a wrath of a fornication. So if we allow Babylon to creep in, abrupt end will come. So this is a warning message to the United States of America. If you have any questions, you can ask. I finished now. Yeah. Particularly Iran, which is the most militant Islamic republic based on the political system called religio-political system called Islam. Iran is adamant with its Islamic ideology, but majority of the people don't believe in Islam anymore. Majority have become accepting Yeshua. This is a truth. This is not an exaggerated account. Almost 50% of the population are moving toward Yeshua. There's no exaggeration. Maybe I'm giving an understatement. But 80%, I should say, don't believe in Islam any longer. I've met many Muslims in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Singapore, in England, in Canada, United States. I talked to them. Not even one person had talked in favor of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The leaders know very well. They are sitting on a volcano which is going to erupt. But unfortunately, this regime, which is occupying the White House, is giving money to that aberrant regime to build nuclear facility. They don't want nuclear power plants here in America, but they're giving money for nuclear technology to be perfected in that country. What kind of administration is this? No common sense. No common sense. They're acting like Belshazzar. They're acting like the mayor of Kabul. And if they do like that, who's going to face the consequences? You and I. So never trust these leaders. They're not leading us into truth. Let us hold fast and let us be followers of Yeshua. Hallelujah. He's the king and he has the ultimate power. Any other questions? Oh, so that means my lecture is so fine. Everyone have understood every point. I've done a good job. Thank you. Praise Yahweh. Yeah. Yeah. My conclusion? Beware of creeping Islam. Means there are so many factors, so many things which are against our beliefs, but my focus is on Islam now. Yeah. You have so many other things which I don't have to tell, but now here in this evening I want to focus on Islam. Yes. With an emphasis on history and with the strength of history and the recapitulation of history, I just wanted to bring an awareness that we have to be careful about creeping Islam. Is that clear? Yeah. Yeah. Oh yes. You are partly correct. You are not partly. You are correct to a great extent. I have no disagreement with that point. Yeah. I saw an article in New York Times. It claimed that Hispanics are Hispanics are exploring Islam, or another one, Hispanics are reconsidering Islam or reinventing Islam. This was reinventing Islam. What is that reinvent? Like talking about some reformation, immigration reformation. Already we have good immigration laws here. Why we need reformation? Only when you have a flawed law, you need a reformation. They're using all these kind of confusing jargons and misleading people in order to bring forth their agenda. Oh yes, that is Jehovah's intervention. Again, that's another history where Charles Martel was used by the Pope and the Roman Catholic Church, which was so powerful there, though they have done a lot of things against the Jews, Spanish Inquisition and so on, and they were able to join forces and drive Islam from Spain. Islam went and occupied for centuries, and they changed the history, they changed the name. They named Spain as Andalus. And if Islam had continued, today Mexico, all Latin America would have been Muslim. You got it? Yeah. So Yahweh has intervened. Like, you know about the Spanish Armada, which came to conquer England. But Yahweh intervened and stopped it. Right? So Yahweh has his hand. His mighty hand is always there, leading human history. So that's why we should reestablish our faith in him. Hallelujah. He's in control of human history. And he will lead human history. Praise Yahweh.